In this presentation, we're going to continue on with our bank reconciliation for the second month of operations. Last time we looked at the deposits. This time we're going to look at the checks and other outflows. Here we go with Xero. Here we are in our Get Great Guitars dashboard. We're going to be opening up our trusty trial balance by going to the accounting dropdown and opening up that trial balance. We're going to then mouse over the tab up top and right click on it and duplicate that tab. So we're going to have our trial balance to the right, then our information on the left. We're going to be adjusting the date for the trial balance for the month of February. So we'll be selecting the drop down over here and bringing that out over to February 29th and then update that report. Next, we're going to go on to the tab to the left, and we're going to be opening up our bank reconciliation report. So I'm going to go to the accounting and take a look at the reports, and that's going to be in our accounting reports down below. So the accounting reports, we want that bank reconciliation summary. I'm then going to right-click on the tab up top and duplicate that tab. So we have our trial balance and then our bank reconciliation, and then where we do stuff on the left side. We're going to then, in our bank reconciliation, say we want the checking account that we're going to be dealing with as of the end of February in our practice problem, February 29th, and then we'll go ahead and update that report. So last time we went through here and we reconciled everything on the deposit side, leaving us with the one outstanding item for the deposits. We have all of these checks which are not outstanding at this, which are reported as outstanding here, but they're not actually outstanding because we have to mark them off as having cleared. Once we mark them off as having cleared, they will be reduced here and we'll be left with just those items that are outstanding as of the end of February, resulting in a reconciliation of the book balance, 104,377, which can be found on our trial balance as of the end of February. There's the 104,377.46. And if we go back to the back here, then if we have just the reconciling items, we should get to our bank balance, which is, as of the end of the day on the bank statement, it is this 104,611. So we got it. That's the ending number we need to get to by reconciling these items. Now remember, as the outflows happen, just note that you'll have these in here that we entered in the system in January that haven't reconciled in January. That's normal because they didn't reconcile in January because we entered them in the system as the end of January, and they're not going to reconcile till February. So those were outstanding as of the end of January, but now it's February and they've cleared. So we're going to check them off as having cleared at this point. At this point, only being left with the outstanding items that will probably sometime be at the end of February. So you would expect maybe some of these items down here that we wrote like at the end of February to still possibly be uncleared, and maybe we will clear them in March. All right, back to the first tab, and let's do this reconciliation process. We're going to go then to the dashboard. And a couple ways we can get in there. We went to the dashboard last time, and we went to the banking information down below to get there. Let's go there the other way that people might be doing this, and you want to know how people get into these things. We can go to the accounting tab, and we can go to the bank accounts up top. And then if we scroll down, we've got we're working on this one, the checking account, and then we got this manage account information on the right, and we want to go into the transaction detail. You can go into a couple different fields, which will basically take you to this same information because it's going to be that field that has these three tabs up top: the reconciliation, the bank statement. We're working here in the account transactions. So now we're going to find all the items that are on our bank statement that are not on the books, and remember, if it's on the bank statement, not on our books, we're probably going to have to add it. If it's on the books, not on the bank statement, it may be outstanding, and that's okay. That's what we're looking for. That's what our report will be consisting of. So let's go through these. We're going to say that we're going to find that 11,000. Back over here, I'm just going to check these off as we go. So we're looking for that 11,000. And so there it is. It's not reconciled yet. So I'm going to reconcile the 11,000. And then I'm going to go back on over and see what else we got. Going to make that one green. I'm going to go do this a little bit faster. Similar process as last time, so a little bit faster. The 500 then, I'm looking for the 500. There it is, not reconciled yet. So we'll take on that 500. So we found that one. Then we're looking for that 360. So the 360 is right here. So I'll check that one off on the 360. We'll make that one green. I'm looking now, and notice I'm going basically by amount. And if you're using the bank feeds, it does basically the same thing. We're going by amount basically. But also the check date may not be that clear or close if it's a check, but you'll have the check number for your double check verification. And if it's an electronic transfer, the date should be fairly close, within like 3 days. So then we have the 3539. So the 3539, there's that one. Let's go ahead and check that one off and say that's been found. The 630, so then I'm looking for the 630. There's that one. That one has been found, so we're good on that. I'm going to make that green. 1359, so we're looking for the 1359. There's that one. So I'll go ahead and make that green. So that's good. And the 6168, so the 168 is right there. So that's good. I'm going to make that green on the 168. Then we have the 1359. The 1359 is way up here, so there is that. Notice that it might not be in the same kind of order because when they cleared the bank, might be in a different order, especially if they're checks, because that'll throw off the date order a lot. And then the 12337. So we're looking for the 12337. I don't see that one, so that's a problem. 830. So the 830. I don't see the 830. So we'll have to check. And then we have the 648. So the 648. And so the 648 is here. So I find that one. So that's good. So we've got this one's found. And then we have the 3512. So the 3512, if I go back over 3512. So that one is found. So we found that. And then this one, the withdrawal, I don't expect to see that here. So I don't see the withdrawal. I'm going to have to add that. And I don't see the bank charges because I wouldn't have entered the bank charges. So we're going to have to add that. And then I don't see these two. So if we see something in our bank statement that isn't in our books, it's probably, there's got to be something wrong with our books typically. So I'm going to have to look. I'm going to have to research on these. I'm going to go to my bank account, find the canceled check or the transaction, and see what it is and see if I need to add them to our books. So let's go back over and let's reconcile what we have so far. I'm going to reconcile these items that are checked off. Go into the More tab up top. We're going to mark as reconciled. So we will mark those as reconciled, making a nice green little check next to them. So these are all the reconciled items. And then if I go back to my bank reconciliation and I update this, we're going to see a lot of these disappear. All the ones we checked off as reconciled should disappear from this report. So let's go ahead and update this report. And now we have the beginning balance and then these unreconciled items. And then here's the ending balance. So let's see, how much we're off by for this. I'm going to say, all right, here's the 105,684.91. And then if I go to my bank statement, we should be at, so I'm going to say minus the 104,611.54. We're off by 1,073.37. And you would think then that would be this, 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 and this. I'm holding down control and highlighting those, which adds up to the sum of 1037. It's rounded down here. So once we add these to our books, what that'll do is it'll change the book balance. This balance up top, which is also the trial balance up top here. And that'll make us in balance because the reconciling items are correct. It's just that we have some items that should be on our books that are not. And we've now have found that by the bank rec. So I'm going to go back over. I'm going to look and say, okay, what should these be entered as of? I'm going to find that transaction, the detail on the bank, a bank account, and then enter that into our book. So we'll enter these into our books now. I'm going to do that in the first tab. I'm going to right click on this tab and duplicate it. So we got the information on the right. Now I'm going to go back to the left and we're going to go to the payments. So we got to add these payments in a similar fashion as we did in the first month. I'm going to select the plus button and I'm going to say that we're going to say that this is money going out. So we spend money. We're spending money again. It's probably the marketing department. They always want to spend more money. But anyway, we're going to go to the checking account down here and it's going to come out of the checking account and we're just going to add these 4 items. So I'm going to imagine that I looked up these checks and saw, the canceled checks and who they're going to. And I'm going to say it's going to Easy Window Repairs because apparently we had to repair a window because some kids threw a ball through it or something crazy, whatever. And I'm going to say this happened at the end of, let's say just the end of the month. I'll put it at the 28th. And well, actually I have the date here. So let's say the date. Yeah, it was the 28th. I picked the right date. That's the date. And then where you're going to say this is 1 and it was for that 123.37 was the amount, right? Yeah. And then I'm going to put this into like repairs and maintenance, let's say. Repairs and maintenance, see if we have an account for repairs and maintenance. Reimbursement. So let's repair. No, we don't. All right, well, I'll have to add one then. We'll add one, and we're going to make it let's take a look at the account number. Kind of floundering here, sorry about that. We're looking for the account number, repairs and maintenance somewhere. Let's make it 6175. So 6175. We're going to then go back in here and add the account. 6175. Let's 6175. And this is going to be the account type. It's going to be an expense. So let's make it an expense type of account, which is going to be down here. Expense. And I'm going to call it repairs and maintenance. Hopefully I spelled that right. And save that. So we'll add the expense account. And there we have it. So now I'm going to add a new one. We're going to do another one for that second check. So I'm going to say, let's save this. And then we're going to do it again. I should have said save and add another. But I'll select the plus button again to add another. And then we're going to spend money once again. And then we'll go into the checking account. It's really kind of annoying that we had to fix these windows. Crazy. They should be paying for my windows, putting those in. Anyway, we're going to say this one also went to the easy window repairs. And this is going to be the end of February as well, or say the end of February. And we're going to say that this one is the amount of, for that second check, the 830. We're going to put in the 830. So we'll say here this was 830. And this is going to be repairs and maintenance, which we should have at this point because we added it. And so there we have that. I need a 1 here, so 1. So there's the amount there. That's going to reduce the checking account. Then I'm going to say save and add another. So we've done these two. Now I'm going to add the withdrawal. This time I'm going to assume that the owner took the money out as a draw rather than an expense. So this time we're going to assume it's a draw, which hopefully that's the way it would normally be. So the owner took money out, money came out. We're going to say, hey, is this a draw or is this some kind of expense? They're going to say, it's a draw. That's good. That's the way, it should be. And so we're going to say, all right. So here's the, we'll say this is as of the end of the month. And this is going to be a amount for 100. And now I'm looking for an equity account. This is the point. It's an equity account rather than an expense account now. So we're going to select the drop down. And I'm looking for an equity type of account. So we've got the assets, liabilities, equity, and then we want to put it into this one. They give us one called owner's capital, owner's draw. That means they're taking the money out for personal use. So it's not going to affect the income statement. So that looks good. So we have that. And then we have to add one more for the bank charges. So this is going to go to the equity account, not decrease income. And then the other side is going to decrease the checking account. And then we're going to add one more. And that's going to be for this $20 bank charges. So $20 bank charges. So that's going to be from Wells Fargo. And we'll say Wells Fargo as of the end of the month again. So we're going to say this is the end of the month. And we're going to say that this was for $20. And this is going to go to bank service charges. So now I'm going to, so $20 decrease in the checking account. I'm going to save that one. And so now we've entered these because we have to enter them unless we're going to argue with the bank, right? We have to fix our books because these are decreases that we don't have on our side. So then I'm going to go, all right, now let's go back over to our activity. Let's go ahead and update this. I'm just going to update the URL by clicking on the URL and updating it. And we should then be able to find these. So now let's look for that 12337. So I'm going to go back down and looking for that 1, 2, 3, 3, which I put at the end of the month. It should be up here somewhere. Here they are. Here's both of them. There's the $80, the 830, and the 12337. So that's these two that we're going to find now. And then the 100 and the $20. So here's the 20 and the 100. So those are the reconciling items that should tie us out. So we're going to then say, let's reconcile those. I'm going to go to the More button. I'm going to mark as reconciled. So let's mark it as reconciled. They're going to turn green then. So they've turned green. Then if I go back to the bank reconciliation, what's going to happen when I update this 104,377 is going to be changed the beginning number. Nothing's going to change down below because we fixed our books, right? Not the reconciling items. So then I'm going to go ahead and update this report. That 104,377 should change to the 103,304. And there we have our reconciling items. That now reflects what happens on the trial balance, because if I go to the trial balance and update the report, we should have the amount in the checking, the 103,304, which ties out to the 103,304 if I go to the trial balance. And if I was to drill down into this, I would see those adjustments for the 4 adjustments that we made, which was to, decrease those 2 checks and then record these 2 items, which are now reconciled as well. Also, just note that the amount for the draws this time went into the equity section, which is up top. So we see this $100 draws. That's not going to the income statement. Last time we put the $80 into miscellaneous down here on the income statement, which is going to decrease net income. This time we assumed it was money taken out by the owner, therefore it should decrease equity but not be part of net income, not be part of the decrease in the income statement. Okay, so there we have that. And then if we have our beginning balance or our balance per the books, then these accounts or items have not yet cleared. These are the reconciling items that we assume will clear next month. So we assume these will clear next month. And if we want to check on them, we can always check March and see if they do indeed clear. And if they don't, we can look into that problem. But as of the end of February, they should be the reconciling items. So they're reconciling. That gets us to the 104,611.54. So, and that should tie up to the 104,611.54. So now we have reconciled to the bank account. So this bottom line number ties out to the bank account. So if we have problems with any of these reconciling amounts, we know right where to go. We go to those reconciling amounts and see what the problem is. All the other transactions, because we're exactly on, means that we're pretty confident we have a good second check about these. All right, so now let's go ahead and print these out the same as we did last time. I'm gonna export this to a PDF. Again, I highly recommend exporting these reports as you do them, because you want to have that external copy in case anything changes basically in the future. So I'm going to be bringing this on over to our folder. So I'll bring that into our folder here. We'll rename it. I'm going to right click on it and rename it. And I'm going to call it 02 for February. And then bank rec. I called the first one rec. That's funny. And then it's going to be for February. So there we have it. So it's in order by basically the month that way. Then I'm gonna export it to Excel. So we'll export it to Excel. I'm gonna open that up and I'm gonna take that information and put it into our Excel worksheet where we can basically have all the reconciliation data. So we have our bank reconciliation here. So there it is. And then I want to pull this information into our report where I have all the data. So I'm going to open up my bank reconciliation where we put the January reconciliation. And so here we have that. I'm going to add a new tab. I'm going to say February here. And I'm just going to copy this over the same way we did before. So I'm going to copy the entire bank statement, right click and copy it. Then I'm going to put that onto our second report where we have the January bank statement here. I'm going to put that in A1, right click and paste it. I'm going to update or increase the size to 150. Now, if we want the other reports involved, like I could add the other reports here as well. So I could say that I want the bank statement information. Right click and copy that and put that in here. Double click and call it bank statement, and this is February. And then I could add the other data as well. The last tab being the statement exceptions. If I want these, copy and double click and exceptions or whatever. And the point is this is February. Let's put this in for February. And then I'm going to put that in A1, right click and paste that. Make this up to 150. So then we have our information. And then the main thing, the point is that I want this for sure. This is really like an auditor would basically want this. And then if you want to add this other information, then you can. If you want to just print out this information and keep this stuff that won't print with it, but you'll have the added information, you can right click on these tabs and hide them, right? I can right click and hide these tabs, and then I'll have them, but they'll be hidden in case I want to print everything out. If I wanted to unhide, I'd have to right click and unhide, and then I can say unhide, and then, you know, right click and unhide, and then right click and unhide, and I can take all these out of being hidden, and you can have all the detail. But I'm imagining we want to print this thing out and have the extra detail hidden. So I'm going to say right click and hide, right click and hide, right click and hide. And now we're left with what we really need, which is going to be basically these first two tabs that we can provide to someone, the first two tab information, and still have that kind of other information if we need it.